rhyme or reason to the order of teams. No, we kind of just throw them all in a bucket, and no, there's a few things we consider, but we do try to mix in the international teams, the traveling U.S. teams, in with the local teams. So the most popular, of course, are the internationals, and they're spaced all the way through the parade.
All the way from Alaska, then back with the squad following them out of Golden Valley and St. Louis Park right here in the metro area. As you see the Alaska team there, they're going to have some different conditions, always something that's fun for the teams that come from up north down to a summer here in Minnesota.
And this team is the Cook Inlet Soccer Club from Anchorage area. So they're, we almost always have teams from Fairbanks, and boy, that's more of an adjustment than the Anchorage teams.
Anchorage considerably further south if you're talking about degrees of things. So we had Alaska, Park Valley United they're representing, and that keeps us to the Central Minnesota Youth Soccer Association and the Eden Prairie Soccer Club making their way into the stadium. As we mentioned, over 1,100 teams, 1,168 to be exact, second most of all time that will participate here at this point. Tony Galvin Soccer Club, Minnesota Thunder Academy was also represented, and that's one of the clubs that sends an awful number of teams to both the weekend and the week-long edition from right here in the state.
Yeah, Minnesota Thunder Academy is a local club.
See it, these kids waiting as they have in that staging area. Northwest Kickers, the next ones into the stadium.
Northwest Kickers is a club from the Brooklyn Park, Maple Grove area.
Love the camera, playing to the camera at this point for the kids. And again, this is something for those folks that are following both on North Metro TV and then usacup.org. There's live streams. You can see the games themselves as the week unfolds right here on these same portals. Different games that we'll be covering on the North Metro TV side, and then games live streamed here as well on USA Cup.
Yeah, and we have viewers from all over the world tonight, JW.
And let us know where you're watching. We've got the ability to comment and check in with us. Of course, all sorts of ways throughout social media to follow USA Cup and everything that's going on. Start on Twitter at USA Cup Soccer. If you're talking about it, use the hashtag USA Cup Soccer. And make sure you get in the conversation. You see a squad from Cottage Grove followed by the Woodbury Soccer Club. And we've got another international club coming up, and there they are, the squad from Costa Rica.
I was talking to one of the Costa Rican team managers the other day. One of their teams has representation from 6 different countries, all in the same team. And they all are kids who live in Costa Rica and play for that club, but they were born in 6 different countries, and not just other Central American countries, countries like Egypt and Germany. Pretty unique story, I think.
How they all come together. One of the 14 youth squads out of Costa Rica, coached by a former Costa Rican national player, Austin Berry, in that bunch. Out of the folks from Costa Rica, plenty of rich soccer tradition that will be represented by these Costa Rican teams this year.
And soccer fans, of course, know that Costa Rica is one of the countries participating in the CONCACAF Gold Cup right now, one of the major international tournaments, regional tournaments that are held all around the world.
Might be another way to bond for these kids. Of course, no doubt whether it's their own country or someplace else within the CONCACAF that there is some fandom. I'm sure they'll all be keeping an eye on that. Back to the United States as we had a squad from Rochester, and then from the Sunflower State, the athletes from Kansas. Orono Thunder, Bemidji. And that's something that's good to see. Even the teams, I was looking through through the history as we're in the 33rd year, there have been 10 clubs from Minnesota that have sent teams every single year. Might get old hat, but it's good to see that at least the Minnesota squads we've seen so far, they're clearly into the joy of it still, even in year 33.
Well, it's all new people.
Right.
I'm sure there's kids from that first few years who are now coaching maybe in those same organizations.
Mentioned the Rochester squad. There's the Euro Football Club, Euro Academy. a team that tournament built. That's what they do. They go around and they play tournaments. They're not like most of these teams in a league. And they have a high level of coaching that brings them here and geared for the tournament. Squad from down in Rochester. There you go. That's the best way to do it, riding on the shoulders of somebody. Coming up on the broadcast, of course, we'll get all the teams introduced. The fanfare continues with the Navy Leapfrogs that will be coming in. Members of the Leapfrogs to be lighting the torch as well as the opening ceremonies roll on. There have been over 56,000 games played in the 33-year history of the USA Cup as we roll into this year number 33. North Oaks Soccer Club. And there's going to be a conversation, our first conversation with Kindred St. Aubin, and one of our participants will be with William Jin, the team manager for a U13 squad out of Beijing. And Barkley, I know having the squads from China, 3 of them, is of big impact this year for the USA Cup as far as historical significance with that number of teams.
Most ever teams from China, 2 teams from Shanghai and 1 from Beijing.
Preceded by teams out of the Princeton Youth Soccer Association, the Richfield Spartans, and the Canadian squad out of Saskatchewan. There's the Princeton bunch and Tonka United. And again, teams for the week-long edition playing a game today and guaranteed 3 more games at least throughout the week, with championships rolling on out of pool play. And there we go, our team and the first team representing the country of China. 3, setting a record for teams coming from China this year.
Tournament on the weekend. What has it been like since your team arrived?
Well, since we arrived at the Minnesota, we've been through a lot. We actually been through a lot. There's a lot of traffic and, 24 hours on the plane, and we lost our luggage. But eventually, hey, we made it. We received this. We received this medal. We think this worth everything. Yes, that's wonderful.
What has your club been doing here aside from soccer since you've arrived here in the United States?
Well, we've been doing a lot. We visit the University of Northwestern. We have done a lot of things, fun things with the other team clubs, with the different national sport teams, and especially we made the coin. You see the paint right here. This is what I made for my team. This is Beijing 2017, and this is the logo of USA Cup. And this is the chicken that could, because the lunar year is chicken. So that's wonderful. This is amazing.
Well, thank you so much. Enjoy your time here at Blaine.
Yeah, thank you. No problem.
Good stuff from William Jin, the manager for the U13 team, and he brings an interesting kind of token that they've got there, the pin, and that's not just exclusive to them. That's something that happens with a lot of these clubs. That's one of the mementos that they can all trade together that's become a tradition.
JW, the pin trading pit, I will call it, in the Expo Center is it's an amazing scene. These kids are really good at it, and if you don't know how to trade pins, you are going to get taken with these. A 12-year-old girl can get rid of your pin supply pretty quickly.
That's good stuff. It's all part of the inside track here for the USA Cup opening ceremonies, kicking off the full week edition as the TC Fire Soccer Club making their way in. You saw squads from Alchemy Developmental Soccer Club and the Coon Rapids Soccer Association. As we run into a stretch of Minnesota clubs. Squad from Owatonna, Minnesota, knowing how to light things up. New Prague Area Youth Soccer Club, and they're getting into the multicultural festivities. and all the way from the West Coast. "67 countries over the years, Barkley, and I told you I wasn't going to have you answer a question that you didn't know off the top of your head, but so we'll give it a test. But if you don't know at this point, I was going to bring it to states, and we can talk about all 67 countries. Over the 33 years, have all 50 states been represented, or are we still waiting on a few holdouts?
Still waiting on 2.
Okay.
48 out of the 50.
Okay.
Maine and Rhode Island.
Interesting.
And I would love to get the last 2 filled
Right.
in.
Complete the set. But as far as countries go, it's a wide swath. It's not just Central America. It's obviously expanded to Asia as well.
And actually, just to be clear, really our strongest area of international recruitment is in Latin America,
Okay.
Central America, Caribbean, and South America. And we always get a lot of teams out of Scandinavia as well. And we're doing a lot better in Asia. It's witnessed by the increased participation from Chinese teams, and we get Japanese teams every year as well.
Obviously, at that point, the largest hurdle for teams like that, logistics. I mean, you heard it from William Jin, Coach Jin, talking about the logistics of getting his team here. It's got to be something you guys are definitely cognizant of. What is it that you guys are able to do to kind of facilitate that, and what is your role in helping those teams get from maybe the furthest flung destinations?
Well, we have international recruiters who work year-round recruiting teams, and they do some international travel, meeting with soccer clubs. It's a huge undertaking to travel to this tournament, and even more so when you're an international team. It's expensive. Logistically, you have to get all the families on board and committed to doing that. And teams will prepare for years sometimes to come to this tournament. We'll have teams that are planning to come 3 years from now, and it's just that's what it takes. But it's pretty cool when they get here.
Definitely pays off in the experience, and that's what all of this is about, the experience for these soccer players. One of the first, we talk about 67 countries. This year, we haven't seen them yet. They'll be here undoubtedly in the parade, but we'll have our first girls team from Spain, from the country of Spain. Yeah. Spanish teams have been here before, but on the boys' side.
And it's been a number of years since we've had any Spanish teams here, so that's really special for us. And it's a 19-year-old girls team, so that's pretty cool. Love to have more of them. In fact, our recruiters have been in Spain each of the last 2 years, recruiting in Madrid and Barcelona area.
Squads continue to come in. You'll see the main field area begin to fill up. Bloomington United Youth Soccer Club down from the South Metro. Continuing this parade here in the state of Minnesota. I mentioned that there were clubs that had been to every single tournament so far in the 33 years, 10 of them from here in the state of Minnesota.
Including the Blaine Soccer Club.
Including the Blaine Soccer Club. You knew right where I was going. You'd think we'd been doing this for all 33 years, Barkley. This is great stuff.
You're a local station, I know that. And we have Wisconsin coming in. Neighbors to the east.
State-wise, do you see what is the biggest participation outside of the state of Minnesota? Teams that are consistently sending? Does it come nearby Wisconsin, basically?
Yeah, obviously it's the nearby states. Yep. I think Wisconsin for sure would be the biggest, and we get, especially in the weekend tournament, we get a lot of teams from Iowa and the Dakotas. From Canadian provinces, obviously, Manitoba and Ontario being the most visited.
Right.
This year we have 5 Canadian provinces represented.
Alberta will be coming through momentarily. And we have the 10 teams from Brazil rolling into the stadium. Colombian team rolling through. Again, speaking to that strong presence, Latin and then South America. Obviously soccer hotbeds, and Colombia part of that. Three Rivers Soccer Club, the Egan Wave.
Three Rivers is a club from the Elk River, Minnesota area.
We'll have another talk coming up with Kentrady St. Aubin. A couple of players from CNS Fiore out of Calgary. That will be highlighted on the broadcast. More of the Egan Wave Club.
Love that hair.
Absolutely, it's like a wave.
It's awesome
hair. And now our Brazilian entrants we mentioned earlier.
Our Brazilian teams are from Rio and Sao Paulo.
10 total teams at the different age groups from those locations.
And obviously, some of these Brazilian teams are among the best teams in the tournament, which would surprise nobody who knows soccer.
Undoubtedly, skill-wise and then passion level, as you can see on display there with the flags. It'll be interesting to see how all of these teams again fare and how the games play out as the week goes on. But at this point, it's all about the fanfare and the experience for the youth soccer players here. Bringing up after the Brazilian team, the St. Anthony Huskies. Short order by the team from Alberta.
Alberta teams represent Edmonton and Calgary.
From out of Duluth, the Gitchigumi Soccer Club. And Northern Lights Soccer, another one of those teams that's been around here in this tournament for the duration.
Northern Lights is from the Anoka, Minnesota area, local club.
From White Bear.
Another one of our clubs who has participated in USA Cup for every single year, 33 years.
10 of those clubs from the state of Minnesota have done that. It'll be Alyssa Chu and Cameron Braun, U16 players from CNS Fiore. Just momentarily are going to join Kentrady St. Aubin for some reaction and their thoughts on their time here at the tournament.
Thank you. Well, I'm joined by two lovely ladies from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Can you guys tell me your names?
Alyssa. I'm Cameron.
When did you guys arrive in town here for this tournament?
We arrived on Thursday night.
What has been the best thing that you've done so far, the most fun you've had since you've stepped here on Minnesota?
Honestly, this opening ceremony has been amazing. Just meeting so many new people. It's there's no words for it.
Did you guys have a game today?
Yes, we did.
How'd you do?
We could use some improvement. I mean, any team really could, but it's been going really well so far for all of us.
So what are the most interesting people, the most interesting team that you've experienced or that you've met since you've been here?
Probably our call-ups. Our call-ups have been amazing. We've had some from Arizona. Where else have we had?
We had one from Norway. That was a really cool experience.
Yeah, for sure. And then a few from here as well, which was an amazing experience as well.
Is this your first time here at this tournament?
Yeah, it has been.
What are you guys expecting as far as results? You guys have some good ambitions for how do you do from your club in Canada coming down here? How's the competition fared?
For sure. I mean, we're representing our club and everything, but honestly, it's all for a good time. So not as much as the results, but how much memories we make.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks to Alyssa Chu and Cameron Braun for joining Kindred East St. Aubin as we continue. And it's always fun to hear those perspectives on what the tournament's going so far. The international players, Barkley, there's something that's gone on through the life of the tournament, and that's the homestay program for getting places. And again, it goes back to the coordination with the international teams. Is that still something that is a large part of what the tournament is today, placing those athletes in different homes and different places where they get that support here locally while they're here?
We do have a homestay program for selected international teams. We only do it with internationals.
Okay.
So we have a homestaying teams from Mexico, Costa Rica, Haiti, and Japan. In fact, the Japanese Tokiwagi team, one of the better girls teams, they've won one championship already here this week. They have been homestaying with the same group of families in the Moundsview, Minnesota area for over 10 years.
Certainly a fun way for the community to continue to support this tournament. And the tournament itself, Mark, wouldn't go off without a lot of help. Obviously, a lot of help that's here all the time, and then there's a lot of volunteers that I know you guys employ that keep the ship kind of running as the week rolls on.
We probably have 20 full-time staff who spend at least part of their time during the year working on USA Cup, and then over 1,000 volunteers spring into action this week, and several of them have been volunteering since the tournament began 33 years ago. Pretty impressive. And more than a few of them will use up a week or 10 days of their precious vacation time to put in 18-hour days at USA Cup.
Squads from the Plymouth and Wayzata area, the Fusion Soccer Club. Hard to miss their trademark neon green. Tonka, I believe I saw some Crow River Soccer Club shirts already rolling through. Those guys headed through.
Now entering the stadium, please welcome the athletes from
right there.
JW, one of the things that distinguishes Schwann's USA Cup is that we are the only tournament of this size in the world, and there are probably 4 mega tournaments, and we're one of them. But we're the only one where all the games and all the activities are on the one contiguous campus, which really makes it easier for us to do these cool activities that the kids can all do. If you have teams playing at, say, 8 or 9 different sites around the city, it's hard to get everybody together to do things together. And so that makes us really unique, and it's one of the most popular parts of this tournament.
And that goes beyond the opening ceremonies, which is obviously the biggest thing that draws everyone together. But as games are going on here on campus throughout the week, there's other non-game related activities that are encouraged for people to go take part in, whether they're on teams or here visiting.
A ton of stuff to do. We have a daily Instagram scavenger hunt. We have a medallion hidden someplace on the campus. And Minnesota United is providing some pretty cool prizes for the first person or team who finds the medallion. Has not been found yet.
There we go. And that was going on throughout the entire weekend, too.
That's
People were searching, or just started? Okay,
just started
today. Squad from Haiti continues our parade of teams here for the Schwann's USA Cup opening ceremonies, 33rd season of the USA Cup.
The Haiti story is really compelling at USA Cup. There's a local foundation, the Sana Foundation, started by well-known U.S. national soccer team player and local Minnesota guy, Tony Sana, who raises money through a program called the Haitian Initiative to help get kids involved, feed kids and clothe kids and get them involved in soccer. And they help bring teams from Haiti every year. In fact, we had 2 of our staff members visit Haiti over the winter to see what the Sana Foundation is doing with the Haitian soccer teams. Our tournament director, Jennifer Ian, was one of those visitors to Haiti, and she came back, and the word she used to me about the visit was, it was humbling.
Even more important than to see, to be able to assist the children in a situation like that, to be able to make a trip like this they'll be a part of the excitement for the entire week. And you were talking about having things on one campus. Has that always been the case? Obviously, over the years, the National Sports Center has expanded and expanded and expanded. Has it always gone at basically the same rate as number of teams that have been invited? Has that kind of had a correlation, or what's been the process there?
Well, of course, we can only take the number of teams that'll fit the field capacity that we have, and we always have been on this campus. Even the tournament started before the National Sports Center began. It was on soccer fields in Blaine, right in our area, right at the same place, basically. So we've always been here, and we've always been a tournament all on one site. We hope to build some more fields in the next couple of years, so we hope to be able to grow a little bit.
Teams continue to roll in. Keelik's intra from in the state here. Strike Force Soccer Club. Interesting banner. They've even got their team members listed on there. Teams from Quebec rolling in. Dakota Rev out of the Southern Metro always sends a extremely large contingent. And we've mentioned both the weekend and the week-long version, Barkley. Local teams, or what is the eligibility to play in both tournaments when you look at the tournament as a whole? Who can play in both?
Teams can pick either one.
Okay.
And we have international teams and local teams in both tournaments. The weekend tournament is shorter, a little less expensive, and the week-long tournament is the one where there's more activities to do, and frankly, the more quality experience because they're here longer.
Get this, the weekend edition gives you the ability to play a lot of games guaranteed. I believe it was 3 games are guaranteed in the weekend edition, and maybe a little less of the pomp and circumstance.
Yeah, it's a much more intense, packed experience. Teams, they're not doing much more than just playing soccer. While the week long, there's lots of other things to do. And so teams can pick.
The opening ceremonies for the 33rd annual Schwann's USA Cup continues. Squad from Chicago Rush making their way in. Another international entrance. Over the years, have you found yourself getting better and better at recognizing country flags during this event?
Absolutely, and I can tell you that I can even recognize whether a flag is upside down or right side up. And let me tell you, JW, it's not as easy as it sounds sometimes.
Not at all. They're not all as evident as the American flag. It's easy to put that one up in the left corner. Squad from Hawaii, which again, including another state, another non-mainland state. And this year, I understand teams coming not just from Honolulu, but also from the Big Island as well, where maybe that's not always the commonplace.
That's the first time, in fact, we've had a team from the Big Island. This team representing Kona.
With the spirit of things. Long trip, teams from Hawaii, but this is the first one from the Big Island. Some choreographed action for the second Hawaiian team going on behind them.
Representing the North Metro, including the cities of Sublime, Ida Lakes, Hugo, Centerville, and Eastern Parade. Please welcome the team.
Coming up shortly is I'll actually have a conversation with a couple of members of the Hawaiian team.
I'm here with Carson Nishida. You came all the way from the Big Island. What has it been like to travel all the way to Blaine and experience this tournament?
It was actually pretty fun. Traveling from Kona to Minnesota was a great experience, actually.
What has been the best part about the tournament so far? I know we're in the early stages, but what have you loved so far?
Just playing soccer with my teammate and, yeah, just having fun out here.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
That was Kendra St. Aubin with Carson Nishida. He's from the Kona Rage out of Kona, Hawaii. Well choreographed, the Riggers Soccer Club. Still to come, of course, drop in from the Leapfrogs. Navy Seals, Eclipse Selects entering the stadium. Youngsters on up, enjoying the excitement. Mark was mentioning the medallion hunt on Instagram. Find him at USA Cup Soccer, Snapchat. You can also get some updates on what's going on with the NSC Sports account throughout the entire tournament.
We have a daily online newspaper, and we post video features every single day during the tournament. So there's a lot of content going on.
That was your Tokiwagi squad from Japan.
3 alumni of the Tokiwagi Japanese team who did play in USA Cup were members of the Japan World Cup Championship team, the team that in 2011 beat the United States in the World Cup Championship. Tokiwagi is an interesting story. They're a high school from Sendai, and many of the families were affected heavily by the tsunami and the earthquake in Sendai a few years ago. They are a powerhouse program.
Yeah, they're actually U16 level, is that correct?
That's correct. They're U16s playing up in U19 division.
So outside of maybe a size difference here or there, you'd seldom know as far as on the field what happens that they were playing up 2-3 levels.
Well, think about that, because in the U19 division, they're playing against some college kids. So imagine a high school athlete here in the United States playing against a team of college freshmen, which is what their competition really is in the U19 division.
So it's the Tokiwagi squad. More teams from Ontario. Throughout Canada.
Of course, we get a lot of teams from Toronto. We also get a lot of Thunder Bay teams. It's close. Relatively close drive down from Thunder Bay.
All things relative, but yes, as close as you can get. You were mentioning one of those clubs that came out to the weekend edition, the Thunder Bay Chill Club. That they had quite a bit of success this past weekend.
That one club had 3 championships on Sunday, including the boys 19 division, where they beat the powerhouse Sweden team, Rudbeckianska. Fair to say, a pretty stunning upset.
Rudbeckianska back for the full week, or okay, they'll be playing.
They'll be back. And we have an intern this year from Toronto, Canada. In fact, Chelsea Chung, who is the intern who organized tonight's ceremony, is from Toronto herself.
An international flair to the organization of it as well. Minnesota Twin Stars Academy. Their way in ahead of a team from Champlin and Shakopee.
And JW, I can look out on the fields behind the stadium, and we're starting to see some grass out there. So it means we're getting close to the end of the parade.
And of course, behind it, because those are usable fields, C2 and C3 out there for the designation on campus, there's already people playing pickup soccer out there at this point. It just is a cycle that keeps rolling.
And we'll be playing games on those fields first thing in the morning.
First light, 7:50, is that the first wave of games? First start time, I believe?
I think it's about 8 o'clock or
8 o'clock, yeah, somewhere right around there.
And we will actually be playing games on this stadium field here. We'll clear everything off tonight, tear down the stage, move the barricades, pick up all the litter, and games in the morning.
And is that just, I mean, obviously, to play in the tournament, you get the experience, but this field, of course, has the stadium and that kind of feel to it. Is there any sort of decision process? Who goes on and gets that draw to play here? What goes into that decision?
For sure. We put our top championship games on this field and the adjacent field, U2, right next door. We also try to put a lot of the visiting teams on this field, because we live stream the games on this field, and we want to showcase those games for the visitors or the people who are not here at the tournament, watching their family and friends play.
Squads from Mexico making their way in. I believe the group from the Chivas clubs. A couple of entrants into the USA Cup this year.
From Guadalajara. They were probably, some of the staff members felt that their two teams, they have a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old boys teams, were the best teams at their age groups in the weekend tournament. So we'll look at how they do in the week long.
Interesting to see, of course. Their big club had some success this year. Looking to follow that up, no doubt.
And another Guadalajara team played Minnesota United FC last Saturday night, Atlas, which interestingly enough is a bitter rival of Chivas.
So won't say it too loud.
So I don't think the Chivas teams were there at TCF Bank Stadium Saturday rooting for the Mexican team.
The United gained a lot of followers of anybody from that club that was making their way there for that one.
We have a lot of USA Cup teams who will be attending the Minnesota United match tomorrow night, Wednesday night, against the Houston Dynamo. So we're ending our games early, so all the teams can go down and watch that game.
And you mentioned it already. We talked about it a little bit as we introduced Kendra and talked about the training facility here. But we can go into it further in depth. That partnership still very much alive and is a big part with Minnesota United with what you try to do with the USA Cup.
This is really unique, and I believe that 10 years from now, a lot of pro sports analysts will look at the fact that Minnesota United chose to site their training center on a very, very busy youth sports campus. It's a great way for professional athletes to connect with the kids. It's a direct connection. It's more common that professional teams kind of go off by themselves and train in isolation. And it's easier to do it that way for them. So there's a lot of challenges they have. So good for them.
We have another player standing by with Kendra St. Aubin to listen in, this time from a local club. Here as we continue with the opening ceremonies of the USA Cup.
All right, I'm here with Katie Thomas. First off, what is the craziest part about having all these teams, all these people come to Blaine for this tournament?
It's really cool because you get to meet a lot of cool people and hang out with your friends, and that's super fun.
What has been the best part about the tournament so far for you and for your team?
Playing with each other, trading pins, and having lots of fun with our coaches.
And you know what, I haven't asked a single person yet today, but who is your favorite soccer player if you had to pick one?
Alex Morgan, but I also like Carly Lloyd because she's a midfielder.
Nice. Well, have fun, enjoy this awesome tournament, and go back and get with your team.
Thanks, you too.
Absolute U10 right there, ladies and gentlemen, with Katie Thomas, and never ceases to amaze. We get to talk to a lot of the players as well. It doesn't matter the age; they always seem to be well spoken, and it's always interesting and fun to have those conversations.
I'm telling you, I'm impressed with these kids tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. All the kids we have, U16, the Kona Rage squad, and Katie Thomas right there at the U10 level. As again, the fields are beginning to empty. Parade rolling on. Of course, the main field filling up. I didn't mean to cut you off there about talking about the United and what the partnership is like. And that's something, you mentioned it, 10 years from now, people are going to be looking at that. And that's a partnership that's going strong and is going to carry on moving forward with this tournament.
Well, I just look at this field where the stadium, where the ceremonies are being held tonight. This is the training field for Minnesota United, and they're sharing it tonight with 15,000 kids. That's pretty unique, and all credit to them.
The opening ceremonies of the 33rd Schwann's USA Cup rolls on. Tomorrow, we mentioned the games that will start, and it's also the Kick Cancer Day, which is something. How many years now is that you guys have been doing that as a part of the tournament?
We're into our fifth year.
Fifth year.
And that is it's the day when we all wear cool Kick Cancer shirts, and so it's pretty fun. The tournament will donate money for every single goal scored and every single shutout recorded during tomorrow. And there's educational activities by 4 cancer organizations on the campus. It's a great way for them to raise awareness and educate the consumers about what their programs are. And it's important to let the kids know that there's more to life than winning soccer games. There's a bigger picture.
You see all the information there, and you can get more information at usacup.org/kickcancer. And is that top one, shutout or goals? So any type of game there's donations happening. It doesn't matter if it's a defensive struggle or an offensive explosion.
Either
it's
one
good for the
works.
cause. Absolutely. Parade continuing to roll on. You see local squads, Blaine Soccer Club. We heard from Katie Thomas. Still plenty of international representation to come, including from Panama and Sweden still, to make their way onto the field.
And our local teams from the Blaine Soccer Club. Blaine Soccer Club has their club offices here at the National Sports Center, and they teams train and play tournament and league games here at the Sports Center.
All the way from Central America, please welcome our 2 teams from Panama.
There's a large part of everything that goes on will be the Navy Leapfrogs. Not sure if that was their plan but that's going to happen here. Leapfrogs will be in. We do have people in viewing from Panama, Colombia, and the Cayman Islands. So we appreciate you checking in. And there's the Panamanian teams coming onto the field right now.
Now please welcome the team from the Line Island Soccer Association.
Local look. Panama again, one of 15 countries represented, including the U.S. and Canada.
All the way from the Great White Way, please welcome our team from New York.
We're getting close because there's flyers in the sky and there's a target on the field. The Leapfrogs are coming in. Obviously something fun. They were in the area for the X Games, Navy Days as well here in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and now adding this to their list.
The Navy has a presence here at USA Cup in the hub, the activity area. They have a virtual reality experience that I didn't go through it, but a couple of my media team members, they did it, and they said it's pretty cool.
So it's going to be capping off the parade of teams here. Ultimate coordination with all of that, of course. They've got to get out of the plane. I saw they could travel up to 75 miles underneath their silk there if they needed to. They'll be headed out to Wyoming. They perform all over the country from April through December. And another part of the excitement, we've got some beach balls that are going out. We'll call it the infield now at this point with all the teams that are there. There were some people crowd surfing. It's just all the fun that we talked about that people were having before on the staging fields, that is now just transferred right here to center stage. It's going to roll on through the lighting of the torch. Teams still making their way in.
JW, I think this is still the Blaine Soccer Club. Way to show the colors, team.
North Metro again, right in the area. These teams competing here, and then that goes to what we talked about towards the beginning. Again, a lot of these clubs, maybe some organizers, maybe some parents with some older children have been here before, but for these specific players, a lot of times, a new and always exciting experience.
I don't know where you could go in the Twin Cities tonight and see more smiles.
I wouldn't think it's possible from the sampling we've had so far.
And now entering the stadium all the way from Scandinavia, please welcome the team from Sweden.
Swedish team.
From the west side of the metro
19
area,
squad
please
just
welcome the
hitting the stadium as well behind this whole passel of Blaine players. See them there.
And this is the legendary Rudbeckianska team, and we say they're legendary because they have won so many U19 boys and a few girls championships at USA Cup over the years, although they did get beat on Sunday, as we mentioned earlier. This is an interesting story. This is a high school team, and it's rare for European soccer teams to represent a school. Usually it's their club teams, and all these players do play for other clubs, but they do represent their school. And one of the players on the Rudbeckianska team, a goalkeeper, is an American from Anchorage, Alaska. He's an exchange student, goes to the high school in Sweden.
All over the place. That number you mentioned about them winning all those tournament titles, there's no teams from Norway this year, but with the heritage of this, they can't sit well with the Norwegian influence that it's the team from Sweden that has all those titles.
Yeah, Norway will be back.
That's just all right.
They'll be back, and they've won their fair share of titles as well.
I married into that rivalry a little bit, so it's always front of mind when you see those two teams.
And it is a rivalry.
Absolutely. See the plane that delivered our divers. Elite Frogs making their way down to the stadium. We're getting down towards the end. Nobody else out on the staging fields. It's actually, we talked about the team from Spain and saved them for last here on the schedule, but again, it's the first ever team of young ladies from Spain that'll be bringing up the rear. Newport Soccer Association right now.
Right here in the metro area, please welcome Joy of the People Soccer.
Thing we talked about the fields themselves, Barkley, and the number of fields that there are. Dedicated crew, some of which volunteer, I understand, that is maintaining those and making sure that they're in playing condition no matter what may come throughout a week as well. It's a big part of the tournament.
Well, we have a full-time turf staff, of course, that mows and maintains the fields year-round, but we also have a super dedicated group of volunteers this week called the Field Services staff. And they're the people who go out and deliver water jugs to the fields and replenish supplies to the field managers' tents. And they work incredibly long hours. They're here at about an hour before the games start, and they're here hours after the games end, restocking fields.
They're almost a must-follow apparently this year on social media. They have their own Twitter account that's going to be going on at the Field Service. So keep an eye. I'm not sure what exactly that's going to entail, but I'm sure it'll be interesting, no doubt.
I can tell you it is. There will be irreverence and sarcasm with their Twitter.
That's right up our alley.
That's kind of the group.
You saw the Joy to the People Soccer Club roll in. Also Uganda now. Joy to the People from here in the Metro, and maybe in the history of it, one of the most unique club names that you'll see with Joy to the People.
It's a St. Paul-based club, actually, and they do more than just soccer. They do other sports, and their ethic is well-rounded people, so they do a lot of work with values education and teaching honesty and ethics.
Teams from Texas, of which there was a girls squad on the weekend edition.
And they're back playing the week long from Houston.
More North suburban teams. Yet another state to check off the register from Pennsylvania as well before our Spanish team checks in.
The Pennsylvania team on the screen is a team from the Philadelphia area, and the Spanish team is from Madrid.
As I mentioned, the first time there's been a girls team from Spain. It'll be an interesting story to watch throughout the tournament as things roll on. Even U19, they're playing at the top level.
U19s.
Let's actually wrap things up for the parade of teams. They're now all in the stadium.
Your Swans USA Cup teams. Let's have a final round of applause for our athletes around the world.
We'll have, all right, do you have the dimensions on the flag? It's a huge flag. We could just leave it at that. I know it's going to be a big one that'll be unfurled here before the national anthem and when we get the divers coming in. Of course, there's plenty of fun still to be had right here at the stadium with Rock the Cup. It's a fun for folks. You see the T there on the screen. That's your
Now, please turn your attention
landing
to the
zone.
American flag in front of the stadium and stand as we salute the United States of America. Our honorary color presenters are members of the Northwest Kickers, along with Minnesota United FC professional soccer players Ishmalia Joe and Hamdu Dawlabi. Ishmalia is also a former Northwest Kickers player. We invite you to join us tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. as Minnesota United FC.
National anthem to be a part of the ceremony here now that all the teams are out onto the field. Frogs still to come. Flag making its way out there. Northwest Kickers, along with some members of Minnesota United, walking the flag out there.
Navy Chief Petty Officer Aaron Albright, who has served 16 and a half years as a helicopter air rescue swimmer and crew chief. He is currently assigned to the Navy Recruiting District of Minneapolis, where he trains future sailors in the surrounding states.
Barkley mentioned earlier,
this fall.
players, the youth players will get a chance to go out and see Minnesota United. So we pause for the anthem. Petty Officer Aaron Albright.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Dress whites for the national anthem here. Capping off the parade of teams here for the USA Cup.
this time, we'd like to take a moment.
Good shot of the packed stands. People filed in both sides. Teams on the infield and the leapfrogs now. About to make their entrance.
Would not be possible. Here's what we're going to do. All the volunteers in the stands and on the field,
We're saluting the volunteers in the stadium and having the folks in the stadium salute those volunteers that we talked about.
Thank you for volunteering.
And as we said earlier, over 1,000 volunteers this week.
And they're just about midway through what they've done. Those that worked at the weekend, and still plenty to go. Their full day of games tomorrow.
Have come from 18 countries and 13 states, with contingencies from China, Australia.
And also the referees being mentioned, which we talked a little bit off air about, but Referees, you look at the population of the teams here coming from so many different countries, even more so perhaps with the referees, it's a destination for them.
Yeah, we have referees from countries where we don't have teams this year. We have a referee from Pakistan, Portugal, which is awesome.
The referees certainly love that experience too. As it is just that, quite an experience for all these teams. Again, you can get all your information, usacup.org. If you're watching our stream, you're right there where you need to be. Follow on Twitter, at USA Cup Soccer, facebook.com/USA Cup.
You see them before. They've got action, they've got power, and they've got a lot of great music they're going to be playing. So as soon as we're done,
Keep in touch with everything that's going on, and don't forget to participate, of course, if you're coming out in the scavenger hunt. Also the Instagram photo contest, which is something new and fun this year. Look for the medallion, but also look each day for the unique spot to take a picture from and for a chance to win, but just join in the fun on Instagram. Leapfrogs, the Navy parachute team. Called the Leapfrogs since 1974. 5 years after they began. Mentioned earlier, they could redirect to travel up to 75 miles if they need to, when jumping from 30,000 feet.
And ladies and gentlemen, we ask you.
For this tonight's jump, they're going to be exiting the plane at about 12,500 feet and pulling their chutes when they get down to about 5,000 feet. And they can go up to 180 miles an hour when they're free falling.
Pleased to present your United States Navy parachute team, the Leapfrogs. All of our jumpers tonight.
Members of the Leapfrogs will be lighting our torch
Air and land commandos,
once they hit the deck here.
better known to you as Navy SEALs. They're trained in weapons, combat diving, special operations, and of course,
Bringing in the USA Cup 2017, the Schwann's USA Cup with style.
1969, Navy SEALs and underwater demolition team members volunteered to perform at weekend air shows. The team was officially commissioned the Leapfrog.
Just got done with their engagement at the X Games. We were mentioning off air, Navy a big part of the X Games, and of course Navy Days over the weekend, every Sunday and Monday, Minneapolis and St. Paul.
And JW, this is for those viewers who obviously can't see where you and I are. We are in a press box, and now we're jealous of everyone out in the stadium because they can look up and see the plane, and we have an obstructed view right here.
You're coming in over our heads, basically.
Although we do have a monitor to look at.
We've been cool this whole time, so they were jealous of us for that. But by their reactions, everybody looking up, and the touchdown imminent. They are, Barkley, quite literally right above us, just out of our sight, but there they go. Everybody else will get a great look at it.
And the fans in the stadium treated to a little free-falling music for their descent.
Appropriate accompaniment. Just another moment to remember here from the opening ceremonies and from the USA Cup for all these teams, and shoots are out. Area cleared. American flag also pops out and draws the applause from the fans here at the opening ceremony.
And this stacked maneuver that they do, JW, is very dangerous, but these guys are pros. And anybody who has skydived knows that anytime you have parachutes in proximity to each other, it's only for the experts.
These guys trained in conditions, not for fun, trained in conditions to do it under duress, in the dark, whenever it might be required. This to them is the fun part that they get to do.
The leapfrogs take a 3-year term, and then they cycle out and they're replaced by other jumpers. There's 15 members of the leapfrogs, and not all of them are jumping tonight, obviously. There's a grounds crew here.
Down in communication, prepping for the landings. Stadium. Plane continues to circle overhead, and our first diver ever closer. Do some maneuvering over the cloud. Come into the landing area. Now the Stars and Stripes in on our third diver. Like we mentioned, it's rain off and on throughout the day, but you look at this shot now, there's not a cloud up there.
This is perfect weather.
Perfect blue Minnesota sky here in the summer as the flag and Old Glory drops down. And the leapfrogs thrilling again.
At this time, we'd like to direct your attention to the north end of the stadium as we welcome our torch presenter.
I think they had the most fun of anybody tonight.
Maybe. They provided perhaps the most fun, but
that's
more of those,
gotta be a rush.
More of those smiles that you mentioned. Even that team, you mentioned the other guys on the ground crew, they were quick to jump over there and even wrap up the American flag.
Special operator first class Timmy Holland grew up in
Get everything set, and we will have our torch lighting now. There are 5 members of the Leapfrogs. Lieutenant Bennett Geyer is the officer in charge of the parachute team. Watertown, Massachusetts, 1,600 jumps for him. Special operator first class Timothy Holland grew up not too far away in Wisconsin. He was the drop zone operator. Special operator first class Brandon Peterson from Holland, Michigan, over 1,800 jumps. Retired Navy SEAL Jim Woods grew up in Pensacola, Florida. Hospital corpsman second class Lloyd Bernal grew up in the Philippines. Official corpsman of the team and 5th member of the squad, mass communication specialist, second class Payung Yi out of Cerritos, California. Torch lit once more for the 33rd Swans USA Cup. And you're right, right. I think they did have the most fun, even just lighting the torch there.
Well, I'm noticing them, noticing the leapfrogs are, I don't know if they knew there were fireworks going to be going off. They seem to be quite delighted by this.
And it's not a party until there's fireworks. So now we've touched all the bases here on the opening ceremonies for the 33rd USA Cup. As the festivities for the opening ceremonies, Barkley, wind down, just some final thoughts on year 33, what you're looking forward to, what folks, again, should look forward to, and basically what this means to all of you who work at this all year round.
Well, this night is one of the things we all look forward to. So, great ending, beautiful weather. I think we're just looking forward to kids having fun, being kids, playing a sport they all love to do. It's just an awesome experience for everybody. And it's something that those of us on the staff here and all of the key volunteers, we're very, very proud of this tournament.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Now, much to be proud of with the tournament as a whole, and certainly tonight. Smiles on smiles on smiles here for the opening ceremony. Party will continue. They rock the cup. Barkley, it's been a pleasure. My first time hosting this event. I've been a part of the coverage that we've had, familiar with it, but first time here. Absolutely a pleasure to be up here with you and get some of that knowledge about this year's team and the history. And we'll see you throughout the tournament. I'm sure you got plenty to do, and we'll see you around this week.
You bet. Enjoy yourself, JW.
Barkley Cruz with the USA Cup, joining us on the broadcast for everyone, including Barkley and Kindred A. St. Aubin, who gave us those interviews with the players, and our entire crew here at North Metro TV and USACup.org. I'm JW Cox. You've been watching the opening ceremonies, the 33rd annual Schwann's USA Cup. More coverage to come as the week is just underway. Let the soccer begin as the world is here at the National Sports Center once more. Good night and happy soccer, everybody.